Puglia, where vegetables and herbs grow in abundance. Its wealth built on the produce from these rich, fertile plains and the industries that developed around its agricultural bounty. Now, we often think of pasta originating in Italy and then spreading across the world. But we constantly see evidence of it coming from other places to end up here.
The traditional pasta at Puglia would have most likely come from the south of France with Frederick's Crusaders. Join me to find out what it is.
Today, Adam's journey takes him through the rolling hills of Puglia, where he discovers new and interesting ingredients, bakes a traditional bread in an ancient dwelling, and cooks up the local pasta with Michelin chef Leonardo.
This is my pilgrimage. Come share the journey with me.
Puglia is a garden region, and that's clear from the massive range of vegetables you get in the market.
Puglia is a garden region, and it's clear to see that, with a huge amount of local fruit and veg and produce. Vegetables are the most popular ingredients for pasta sauces, and probably the most iconic vegetable in Puglia is the lampescone. They are a bulb shaped like onion, but they have much more of a bitter flavour on the palate. I think I'm going to use these a little later on in my pasta recipe. The bitterness of the lampescone and the crunch from the freezer bread is going to make to a very interesting combination.
Not only are vegetables a staple of the Puglia diet, bread is also very important. Adam learns from Mario how to make freselle, a famous and delicious type of bread.
Throughout Puglia, there is a very unique and traditional bread they make called freselle. And it's unique because it's actually twice cooked and shaped like a ring. And today I have Maria and Mario, the local baker and teacher at the local culinary school, to show me how it's made. Maria, what are the ingredients to make this bread?
So we have flour, salt, water and yeast.
What is Mario up to here?
Well, it's just putting the flour on the board.
Yes.
And then making a big hole in the middle to put all the ingredients in.
Okay.
And then he's going to mix it all up together.
And I love it's all worked by hands, you know, tradition, getting his hands in there.
He needs to put the water in to get the dough nice and smooth.
Okay, and you help the yeast obviously activate as well. Mario, a little bit of oil in the hands, look at this.
Okay.
So by adding the oil to Mario's hands, he's removed any excess dough that's stuck to his fingers, and then he adds it back into the master dough, and he really works and gets the flavour into it as well. So Mario's giving it a real workout, getting his muscles flexing, getting the dough nice and smooth. Next step is to let it rest for 20 minutes, and then we come back and continue. Wow, look at that. The dough has tripled in size, and now it's time for Murray to show me how to make this very unique shape of the bread. So, Marty, what's Murray doing? He's cutting like a sausage?
So he's cutting like a sausage with the dough. In order to make little pieces with his hands, which are about 120 grams each.
It's a true art in making this bread. I can really tell that Murray, has been doing this for many years, and there it is. There's the the ring that the freezer is so well known for.
And so now he's doing it with two hands, and now he's doing it with one hand.
Now he's showing
so
off.
There's two modalities to do this.
I don't think I could ever do that,
of course, this is
Mario, I'll do it with the beginners. Do your hands.
Okay.
All right, so 2 hands, let's give this a go. Even baking.
Okay.
Not bad. Not bad for a first time for a beginner. Wow. Have a look at that. Oh, hot. Very hot, Murray's telling me. What Murray did tell me before is that he allowed the bread to improve a second time, so the second fermentation, for about an hour, and then you end up with this amazing panini, like bread. And I can hear Murray, when he's cutting into it, that crunch, that firm outside, and then it's nice and soft on the inside.
But don't you have it?
You want, Murray, all right?
I know you love to do it, so.
All right, let me get in there. So what's it, Murray? Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Murray, 1 second. Delicious. I'll put it away. Back into the oven, and we get our final product. Wow. Look at that. Do they ever use the bread in a pasta dish at all?
Well, we have a tradition where people who could afford cheese,
Okay.
back in the days, they would use the bread as cheese, so it's the cheese of the poor.
So they'd substitute, okay.
Yes, usually with anchovise oil.
So they'd use the oil from the preserving of the anchovies to fry the bread in it and then sprinkle it over the top of a plate of pasta. That sounds like something I need to do. Mario, John, I'm in. That would have to be simplicity at its best. Tomatoes, oil, salt, oregano and bread. Maria, grazie.
Grazie a te.
Maria, grazie a tutti.
After the break, Adam takes his lampiscioni and bread to a Michelin chef to see what he can whip up.
I'm really looking forward to cooking this dish, Leonardo. What's the name of the dish?
The name of this is cream of cheese, Podolic cheese.
Cream cheese, yeah?
Yes, with orecchiette, tomato,
Sì.
cherry, and lampascioni and bread.
Ah.
Friselle.
So while we're doing this, the cousin Franco's going to make the orecchiette for us and get that going. So what does he have over there? Just water, is it, and farina?
Yes.
Is that right?
Flour and farina, yes.
Franco, did you make the pasta?
Okay. Cream,
The cream.
100,
Wow, look how rich that
Yes.
cream is. Look at this. How much?
yes,
Leonardo, tell me.
100 grams,
Enough?
enough, okay?
Scusa.
100 of this.
Okay.
Okay, put
That is the cheese.
the cheese.
And what?
Podolic cheese.
Podolic cheese. One.
Is from cow, okay?
Enough?
Enough.
Okay, stir.
Yes. And
Turn it down.
this, yes, we put, because just a bit of water.
Water. That's vegetable stock,
That
isn't
is
it?
more stuff, yes.
Okay, so we just help thinning out that cream.
This is enough, okay?
That's it, done. Our
It's
dish is
done,
done.
yes.
It's too easy.
The cream is
Ah, the cream
okay.
is done.
Now,
All right,
we put this.
put another
like
pan on.
this, yes.
Some oil as well.
Yes,
Okay.
like this.
Just
okay.
one piece of the garlic.
What? Garlic, okay? Then we
Oh.
put
What is this, Leonardo?
this laurel. Or,
Laurel.
yes, you
A
call...
laurel, I think back home for us in Australia is like a sweet bay leaf. It's similar to the bay, but it's a bit more sweeter in the smell. No worries.
Okay,
Now the tomato
you
in?
put this one. Yes, the tomato.
Okay.
These are the lampascioni, okay? Like this.
To me, they look like a
Okay.
shallot, a French shallot.
Yes. You clean.
So he's taking off the top
We
and then just
Take-
peeling it like a standard onion. But obviously, it's a little bit smaller.
You put this in in water.
Oh, in boiling
with-
water?
Yes, in boiling water. And the result is this one.
Look at that. There we
Okay.
go. I'm going to give it a try.
Are really is amaro.
It's very
call it
bitter.
that.
It's very bitter. Maybe a little bit
It's
of
bitter,
sugar.
bitter. Yeah. This is good.
In.
Yes, in. We need a bit of salt, okay? And we put, okay, just a bit
A
water.
bit more of the vegetable stock. So
It's
we need to
okay.
let this reduce for a little bit. Franco's just adding the orecchiette into the boiling water and salted boiling water too.
Bring the,
Tomato.
yes, no,
Si.
bring the orecchiette you put, okay? Okay,
So he's taking the pasta straight out of the water, not straining it, okay? It's straight into the hot tomato sauce. So a little bit of cream on the bottom.
Yes, here. Now you bring this, you put here.
Place the pasta in the middle of the
Yes,
plate.
in the middle, Okay. Okay, more pasta.
More. So adding the freselle, this is the bread that I just learned how to make earlier on.
Okay, here, like this.
So as a chef, I'm seeing what Leonardo's doing right now. So he's put the creamy cheese sauce on the base, the orchetta with the tomato sauce, and then the crunch. As a chef, that's always think about having texture to our dish. So the freselle is that crunch to the dish. Perfect.
Okay,
Now, the only thing to do, Leonardo, is for me to try this dish.
okay, try now, okay.
That is absolutely fantastic, Leonardo. The creamy cheese sauce underneath is nice and voluptuous around my mouth, filling it up. But the tomato is what surprises me with the lampascione. It's jumped inside the orchette. There's a sweetness and then this hint of bitterness.
This is the Trulli village of Alberobello, and Adam arrives here to an excited crowd. The Trulli are a remarkable example of drywall or mortarless construction. A prehistoric building technique still in use in this region. These beautiful trulli of Alberobello have been listed as an UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Honor, a pleasure.
Coming up, Adam meets Mimmo, a very energetic trulli expert.
Yeah, I can be your guest in your house for a month.
No
for free.
worries.
As you travel southeast, trulli dwellings become a real feature of the landscape.
I'm amongst the iconic rural buildings of Puglia, and with me is a definite character of this town and a tour guide, Mimmo. Ciao, Mimmo.
Ciao, Adam. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. Mimmo, can you tell me a bit about when these buildings were first built and the shape?
The oldest cone-shaped houses on the planet are in Turkey. Between 1000 and 1480, they started moving through the Mediterranean area and they arrived in Italy. So the oldest cone-shaped houses in Italy are on the coast, made on sandstone. The most beautiful one are the one in Alberobello, made on limestone, learning by doing.
Okay.
They also discovered that here, on the top of a hill, 416 meters above the sea level, exposed to every single direction of the wind, they said, okay, one wall is not enough. They doubled the wall. So these are the only cone-shaped houses with two walls. Why they choose this shape? Because to build a cone is easier than building a dome. A cone, a ring of stone, on a ring of stone, on a ring of stone, like igloos. On the top, you can leave it open or not. You have a fire on the side, you close with the pin.
But what I'm interested about is what did they eat and how did they cook within these cones?
It's very dark inside.
Yeah.
A giant wall, small window, small door, giant thermal inertia of the material, constant temperature inside.
Warm, yeah.
You need to make them a little bit brighter. You make a fire.
Okay.
Underneath every single house, there's a cistern to collect the rain. They take the rain from the cistern, they boil it, they can drink. And they also cook on fire. Now I make a question to you. You are in a house with fire.
Yes.
Conical.
Yes.
In front of the fireplace, hot air goes up into the cone. Dry air. Short chimney outside, some of the smoke, not enough draft, will stay into the house, and the smoke goes into the cone. If into the cone of these houses there is dry air and smoke, what you store into the cone far from water?
Food, of course.
Your mother-in-law. No, food, you're right.
Put the mother-in-law up there and preserve her, do you?
Yeah, into the food, she dies. No. You put food into the cone.
Up the top?
At the top. Far from water, it doesn't mold.
Of course.
Hot air goes up and dries food. Smoked
Smoke the flavour.
Also flavor. And also, smoked food lasts longer.
Preserves it.
Yes. So
Perfect.
into the corn, food. Underneath your feet, water. Into the system.
They were very clever, just like yourself.
Thank you.
Mima, thank you very much for all this information. In these small rural villages, we find a special ingredient, dried tomatoes. But it's not these babies I'm interested in, it's actually the next step, what happens to them.
In a place like Alberobello, there is a tradition being preserved at every single turn, from houses to dances. Adam visits some gorgeous locals to learn about something else that's being preserved: tomatoes.
Today I have these 4 wonderful women that are going to show me a preserving method called pomodoro sotto
Sott'olio.
olio.
No, sott'olio. Sott'olio.
Sotto olio, which basically translates to preserving of the tomatoes. The first beautiful signora has the tomatoes who she's pulled open. On to the second signora who washes the tomatoes in vinegar and pats them dry.
Il boccaccio è quasi pieno, ma dobbiamo aggiungere l'olio.
On to our third lovely signora, she's basically placing the tomatoes into the jar with some caper berries, mint and a little bit of salt. And the final step,
Lì, dagliela al signore la cosa dell'aglio.
the lovely signora is gonna...
Ecco, ok.
Io?
Sì.
Alright, I'm gonna add
Vai.
Devi fare una cosa.
piano piano.
Piano piano.
So you add the oil as the final
Deve
step.
scendere.
Vai che qua deve scendere giù.
Slowly, slowly,
Vedi come
slowly.
scende?
Okay, I'm watching the sides. I don't want to overfill it.
Piano, piano,
Piano, piano, piano.
No,
Ok.
ancora ci vuole un altro poco. Ancora ci vuole
Un altro poco.
Fallo col coltello, stringi col
So
coltello.
they're telling me?
No, stanno bene come stanno.
Okay. Just a little bit more. Make sure that your tomatoes are totally covered with
Lo
oil.
metti coperchio a posto.
Ok.
Final step, lid on the jar, and I'm going to take these tomatoes and use these a little later on in my final cook. Grazie. I'm getting all of them. Oh, grazie, signora.
Still to come, Adam's delicious baked orecchiette and sun-dried tomato recipe.
This recipe is inspired by my mate Mario the baker that showed me how to make the freselle bread, and the ladies that also taught me how to preserve the beautiful sun-dried tomatoes. It's baked orecchiette with sun-dried tomato and ricotta pesto.
For the full list of ingredients and method, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage.
The first step to this recipe is to cook our orecchiette pasta in salted boiling water. Just give that a little stir. So to make my pesto, I'm using some mint. Just strip all the leaves off your mint. Try not to get too much of the stem because it's very coarse and very woody in texture and taste. Some basil, of course. What would be a pesto without basil? Our sun-dried tomatoes. 1 clove of garlic. Some capers, which are nice and salty. Some olive oil, obviously to help it all bind together. Put a lid on. And just give it a blend. Okay. All right, there we have it. It's all nice and combined together. Super smooth. That's what we're looking for. Now, that's looking obviously a little bit dry. So what I'm going to do is add some ricotta, fresh ricotta, give it that nice moisture and cheesiness to this dish. Mixing that all together. Splash more olive oil. Little cracked pepper. Now we need to check our orecchiette pasta to make sure that it's nice and cooked al dente because we're going to be putting this pasta into the oven for another 5 to 6 minutes. So now it's where I need it to be. Straight out of the pasta water. And using a little bit of that water helps thin out our pesto with the cheese there. And I love this orecchiette, you know, little pig's ears. That's what it's shaped like. And what happens is the pesto gets inside there. Mix all that together, like so. Take out freselle bread. I'm just going to break it up with my hands. And this is all for texture and crispy, crunchy pieces on the bottom of the pasta. Take half of your pasta. Yeah, just a little sprinkle of some more parmesan. Your remaining pasta on top. Some more of the freselle bread over the top.
and needs just a little splash of olive oil. Now, take your pasta into a hot oven about 180 degrees for about 5 to 6 minutes until it's all nice and golden brown, and then ready to eat. And there you have it, quick, easy, midweek meal. And if you make too much of the pesto, place it in a jar and keep it in the fridge.
Adam discovered that Puglia is the food bowl of Italy. With its lush green landscape, rich with fertile soil, it's the perfect environment for growing flavorful fruit and vegetables. The pasta that was introduced here, orecchiette, was a perfect partner for the many vegetable-based sauces, as the little ears hold the sauce just like a cup. But what Adam enjoyed the most was the broad smiling faces of the Pugliesi, a community of people at the ready to please.
Gone are the gentle rolling hills and fertile plains of Puglia. Next time we are in Basilicata, where the rugged mountains make agriculture challenging. Basilicata is only one of the places in the world where people still live in the dwellings built by their ancestors 9,000 years ago.
For the full list of ingredients and method, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage